Hi, this is Daniela Cambone. Welcome back to the Daniela Cambone Show here on ITM Trading. Well, after a tumultuous week following Trump's victory, gold prices were taking a beating, but they seem to be back this Monday morning. Gold prices sharply higher, silver posting solid gains. As we're speaking, December gold last up around 30 bucks and gold trading at 2,600, and December silver up around 46 cents at around 30 bucks. Joining me to talk about the price action and break it down for us, John Doody. He's a familiar face, you know him, but he's back with a brand new newsletter, John Doody's Fave 5 Golds. John, after 25 years of writing your newsletter, you retired, and now you're back.
Well,
what happened to the retirement plan?
It got disrupted by gold taking off. You know, when I retired, gold had not reached $2,000, and it was actually 30 years of writing the newsletter. And my deal to continue writing expired, and I said, "This is a nice time to exit." And so I left, and people sought me out. They Googled me and found me, and then found me in retirement and laying on the beach, I guess. And I'd begun do a little bit different stock investing for myself, and I decided to make that into a newsletter. People wanted my data-driven analysis. You know, I don't wave my arms and talk about hyperbole and gold, God, and guns and all that kind of stuff. I'm an analyst, and I look at the data and I find stocks that look good based on the data and how they compare to other companies in the business, and I don't know why nobody's ever done anything like this in gold, because they all make the same thing. You know, it's not like you have Coke versus Pepsi and they're spending money advertising why they're different. The gold companies don't advertise at all, and they accept the market price and figure out how can we make money, how can we exist within this existing market price.
Well, I've always said it, John. You're one of the best to do it, so I'm happy that you're still doing it. Because the industry definitely missed you for those 6 months of retirement. But now, break it down for us, okay? Because here's the deal. Folks are calling me saying, we don't know where the gold prices are going, because there seems to be this feeling of euphoria that, you know, President Trump is back, everything's going to be okay. Are we going to see a sharp correction, a pullback in gold now? Should I wait? And then poof, this morning we wake up and, you know, gold prices back at it, rallying, you know, up 30 bucks as we're talking here, John. So your breakdown as to what people should be doing that are confused about gold here.
Well, you can't deny the gold's track record since it was set free in 1971 by Nixon. It's up almost 8.5% compounded per year. If you've done nothing else but buy gold, you'll be, you know, what other investment has got that kind of a return for such a long period of time? I mean, the only thing I know is, you know, the gold stock analyst top 10 was up 19%, audited 19% for 23 years that I wrote it for until I retired. So, you know, so I think if you're uncomfortable to own gold, you should be buying it here. You know, Trump is not a gold hater; he's a gold bug in some senses, and his economic policies that he talked about before the election were said to produce a 10-year additional deficit of like $7 trillion. You know, he's not concerned about inflation. He owns property. If you own property, that's always been a great investment. And I think that, you know, his policies are going to, you know, continue that forward. And on the appointments that he's making here, I have to call him Captain Chaos. So I can't see that these are quality people. They don't know anything. And I think that unfortunately for the U.S. is not good. But I think it's good for gold.
So because you think there's chaos coming down the pipeline.
Right.
Why is silver's up as well. Is just a standard case of silver trailing, following in gold's footsteps here, John, or is there more to it?
Yeah, no, I'm not a silver bug, but I do believe the silver is a derivative of gold, and so when gold goes up, silver will go up.
John, I think people on the gold fence are also looking at how, Trump has been pro Bitcoin, can we say? I mean, he's spoken about a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Um, some say the Bitcoin reserve has the potential to reshape, this is according to Newsweek, has the potential to reshape not only the US financial landscape, but also the global cryptocurrency market. Already, the Trump effect, as we've seen, has pushed Bitcoin into place as the eighth largest asset in the world, overtaking silver. Any thoughts on this
Yeah,
Bitcoin renaissance here?
I think it's more tulip bulbs, just in a different century. There's no question Bitcoin is a useful accounting tool, useful to track, ownership and that, but it's not something you can hold in your hand and you can see it and use it and store it. You got to have one of these wallet things that, guess I'm old fashioned, but I like to put it in my safe or my safety deposit box and keep it. So, and if I want to own gold, I want to own it in bullion coins. That if the worst comes, I can take a coin down to the supermarket and buy out the store. But and so if I want to own easy to transfer gold like Bitcoin, I guess is easy to transfer. You buy a gold ETF.
You also like, obviously, the mining stocks, John. So let's talk a little bit more about the homework you do when choosing your stocks. You're selecting your top five miners. Is that what you get
Yeah,
in the
well,
newsletter?
when I left and writing temporarily last year, I looked at my track record for 23 years of being up 19.3% average per year, and I said, what could I do to improve on that? And if I looked at each of the individual years, I saw that if I was smart enough to pick the five best stocks each year, the average rate of return would have been 47.8%. So I said, haha, that's what I'll focus on. And so, what we're looking for is stocks that, these are not explorers. There's nothing that they're going to
Right,
discover
they're all
that's
in
going to,
production.
they're all in production or near production. And so I wanted some stocks that have had some problems that maybe missed a market who wasn't properly looking at it long term. They were looking at the short term problems. And so the, or and so the favorite five, they all have what I call a wart. Cindy Crawford has a wart too, but it's called a beauty mark. And so I think that these warts that these miners have, um, if you look
Oh,
longer term at them, that they're really beauty marks, and they're opportunities to buy a stock that sells for a third of what it should be. And so that's the favorite five is focused on companies that are in production, near production, and have a wart that is going to turn into a beauty mark.
John, you just gave me a PTSD, the flashback of when you made the comparison of gold to a giant pit bull that was waiting to erupt.
Yeah,
I'm
well, it did
still,
erupt, didn't it?
that was
Finally.
15 years ago. I'm still traumatized. But okay, what can you share some companies you like?
Sure. You want the details or you want the actual name?
Well, I want give me two names you like and
Okay. Well,
why.
I like all five. If you had five children, could you identify which ones you like best? So it's
No,
no.
no, no.
So
So
so I know you don't have five children. Maybe you will in the future, but but no, one I've liked for a long, long time is Seabridge. I mean, they have the
right.
largest gold reserves in the country, in the world, really, and they've got no permit issues. They've got all they need is somebody to finance building the mine, but a hedge fund and a retirement fund have staked them to about $300 million to get towards production. And I think in the next couple of months that there will be a big miner will step in, whether it's a gold miner or a gold copper miner. Somebody's going to step in and take over this deposit they've got in British Columbia. it's the best place to be, Canada, and British Columbia is the best of Canada to be building a mine. It's fully permitted, just waiting for the right big miner to pull the trigger. And when that happens, Seabridge is going to end up with 30 to 40 to percent of the deposit for giving up rights to the KSM deposit. It's called.
So, and Rudy Frank, the CEO, he's all in, right? He has all
Oh
his
yeah,
own money
yeah, yeah.
invested. Why do you like BC as a jurisdiction more than, let's say, Ontario or Quebec?
Bigger deposit. The the Golden Triangle, which is the area where Seabridge is, has got other mines there. It's where it's now owned by Newmont, but it was the mine that built what was the name of the company? But I can't remember the name of the company, but that built it. But it's produces a couple 100,000 ounces a year, and Newmont's involved in the area. It's sort of a stamp of approval when a big guy comes along. They could make a deal for Seabridge. I don't know that they will, but they could. And I like the Golden Triangle for its mining, its geologic potential that's still there. And Ontario I like too, but there's nothing there that's particularly cheap. I love Agnico Eagle. They really control, but there's nothing in Agnico Eagle's future that's going to jolt their price to 2 or 3 times higher than where it is now.
All right, give me another name, and then we're going to talk Fed.
Okay, well, another name is let's see, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
I know it's choosing children. There's no favoritisms here, but
well, you try not to. But how about a little company that's a 15-cent stock called Ascot Resources? They own a property also in the Golden Triangle that they finally got their house in order with a refinancing, and they own mines that Guggenheim used to own, and the Guggenheim family from 100 years ago, and the Premier mine is finally refinanced and going to be in production. They've already run the mill. The mill runs fine, and next year they'll be in production at a rate of about 150,000 ounces a year. They're going to start in mid-year, so they're not going to produce that much in next year, but the year after they will. And Ascot, I think, is got good upside potential.
Good. So you'll have to get John's newsletter to find out the rest. Appreciate you sharing that, John.
John Doody's Fave 5 Goals. Just Google it.
Let's just talk the Fed quickly here, because just, barely after 48 hours from his nomination, we already saw the tension evident during Powell's last press conference after the Fed's 2-day monetary policy meeting. When the reporter asked the Fed chair if he'd resign if Trump asked him to, Powell didn't miss a beat. He said no. Reporter pushed back, said, well, could he fire or demote him? Not permitted under the law, Powell fired back. Not what? The reporter responded. He said, not permitted under the law. The drama didn't end there. We saw Elon Musk hashtagging end the Fed, reviving perhaps that movement here. John,
Trump appointed Powell.
He did.
So, what is the matter with this guy? Get his head screwed on right. And the Fed is supposed to be independent, but that doesn't mean that they're not attuned to what's going on in the economy. The lead article in this month's issue of John Doody's Fave Friday, which comes out Wednesday, is it's never one and done. It's never two and done. In fact, we've had 3 incidences, 3 episodes of Fed rate reducing in this millennium since 2000, and they've taken either 5 steps down or 8 steps down or 13 steps down. So whatever it is, it's not, they don't take that first step or 2 steps lower with the expectation that that's going to be enough. It's never going to be that huge reduction. So it's going to happen, and it's going to, despite all the noise and storm and fury, there's going to be more rate reductions coming. Now, some think it's December. I don't know whether it is. It depends on the data and what Trump is talking about for new programs. But it'll come, and so.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this, because as a former economics professor, For how many years, John?
20 years. Bentley
20
University.
years. Because Trump has mentioned in the past that he thinks the presidency should have more pull or say in monetary policy.
He does. He gets to appoint new members of the board, and they serve a 14-year term, but they come up. They don't all come up at the same time. There's a rotation that they come up, and he gets to appoint the head of the Fed. So that's enough.
But let me ask you this: what if we entertain that? Do you like the idea of ending the Fed? Are you on board with that movement, or you think we need the Fed? Why?
Need the Fed. Well, because somebody has to be there to save the economy, as it did in the Great Recession of 2008 and 9. So it's not going to happen for fiscal policy. It has to be somebody pushing the levers of the economy. Now, the result of that stuff is you get inflation. That's why you own gold. Politicians want to get reelected. They want to get 9 slices out of an 8-slice pizza. So that means that they're always going to be pushing policies that are inflationary.
You know the pushback's going to be, John, to your point. Well, the Fed creates the mess. They're the reason we get in those messes. So let the markets be free.
Yeah, well, free markets end up in depressions. 1930 all over again.
All right. That's John Doody's take. But thank you for sharing your thoughts on gold. I think it's an important reminder, because I know you're a big believer that everyone should own some gold.
Absolutely. I think it should be the foundation of everybody's investment portfolio. You know, I'm totally in on gold, and I'm about 1/3 gold, either bullions or gold ETFs, and one third really big stable gold companies like Agnico, Franco-Nevada. Kinross is an undervalued major, and I'm 1/3 into my smaller kind of stuff, the John Doody's Fave 5, and you know, my track record proves that that's a pretty good follow.
There you go. Well, I wish you a great success. I know it's already really taken off, and people are happy that you're back. I'm happy you're back. The industry needs you, John, and I always love speaking with you. Well, so thank you, friend.
Nice to see you, and looking forward to our next time. I'm free a little bit next week if you want.
We'll make it a regular, right?
Okay.
John and Danny. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, John Doody. John Doody's Fave 5 Golds. And don't forget to sign up at danielacambone.com while you're at it to stay on top of all this great content, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for motivating us to keep going and educating you all. We'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Gold prices are now back up after taking a breather following the win from President-elect Trump. Many thinking, well, now that there's euphoria back in the markets, maybe now is not the time I should be buying gold. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you track history, it will prove time and time again that the longer you wait, the more you will generally pay for your gold. So that's why I urge you all to reach out to one of my colleagues at ITM Trading via a Calendly link. You can find that below in the video, and they will walk you through all the fundamentals and the main pillars, the reasons you should be owning gold today. Do it now.